I want you to think about the last time you bought something from someone online, not an Amazon impulse buy, but like an investment, a course, a program, a coaching offer. How long had you been following that person before you bought? Now, if you were advertised and they had their messaging dialed in, that's a whole nother story, and I definitely teach that as well. But most of the time, you have experienced them in some form or fashion, whether you saw them at an event, you heard them speak, or you listened to them on a podcast or someone else's podcast, or you've been watching their content. You didn't just see one post and hand over your credit card. You experienced them first. Something about being in a live room with them, watching how they taught, how they answered questions, how they showed up in real time, made something click. Now, this is especially true with the mom buyer. It's a little different with us as business owners. We might do more impulse buys, but we know it's a write-off. But for this one, I want you to think about the mom buyer and you as a mom buyer or you as a consumer, that experience that moved you from follower to buyer. That is a micro experience, and it is the single most powerful sales tool in your entire business. So today, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, why it works, and how to build yours. Welcome back to Sold Out Sales School. I'm Trish, your former labor and delivery nurse turned founder of 7-figure businesses. I am a mama of 7, a homeschooling mom, and I built my first 7-figure business selling directly to moms and parents, which is totally different than selling to business owners. So if you sell to consumers, I'm your coach. This is our 8 episodes of a 9-part series. Last week, we talked about the 7-11-4 rule, why your buyer needs 7 hours, 11 touch points, and 4 locations before she says yes. And if you really want to learn this, come to my Sold Out Offer Challenge. We have them every 6 to 8 weeks, and this will absolutely dial this in for you. You'll be mind blown. So today we're talking about the fastest way to collapse that timeline, the thing that builds more trust than most content builds in months. So let's get into it. In 2022, I started running the Fearless Birth Experience, which was our 5 days to a fearless birth experience. And that was for Labor Nurse Mama. It was a live multi-day event for pregnant women, teaching them everything they needed to feel empowered and prepared and fearless. And for the first 3 or 4 times I ran it, I kept changing it because inside my brain, I was thinking, I have to keep it fresh. Like, if they've already come, they're going to get bored if I do the same thing again. Like, I thought variety was the answer. Then at the same time, and if you listen to my episode where we talked about knowing your data, I'm not sure the episode, but Darby will link to it in the show notes. But this is something she said to me. She said, stop changing it. And it was the same reason she told me to stop shiny penny syndrome and creating new offers and new things all the time. She said, you're not getting data. You need to know your numbers. And here's what I know now. Data makes decisions and decisions makes dollars. If you change it every single time, you never know what is actually working. You never know which part made them buy. You never know which teaching moment created the conversion. And by getting that data, you begin to define and refine. But when you keep changing it, you're starting from zero every stinking time instead of building and refining. So I stopped changing it. And I ran the same Fearless Birth Experience, same content, same structure. We had 2 versions of it. We rotated it, but I would pitch on the same day. I'd have the same sales. We used the same automations and funnels and emails, everything over and over again, every 6 to 8 weeks. And something happened that I did not expect. This girl right here got better, like exponentially better, because when you teach the same thing over and over again, you start finding your beats. You react to the audience. You start leaning in better. You stop reading from notes and you start speaking from your gut, from your soul. You stop thinking about what comes next. You start reading the room. You stop delivering content and start having a conversation. You get so deep into your own material that you can do it in your sleep. And when you can do it in your sleep, your audience feels it. The confidence is different. The connection is different. The results are different. The Fearless Birth Experience became one of the most powerful things I've ever built. Not because I kept making it new, but because I kept making it better by keeping it the same. So let me tell you what my micro experience method actually is, because I want you to hear my definition. A A micro experience is a live experience, a live event that gives your BFE a taste of your teaching, your personality, and your expertise. So she can self-filter whether or not you are for her before she ever spends $1 on your main offer. So I want you to read that again, self-filter. This is one of the most underrated parts of the whole concept. When someone attends your live micro experience, they are not just learning from you, they are auditioning you. They are watching how you handle questions, how you show up when things go sideways, how you teach, whether your energy matches what they need, and whether you are someone they can trust with their money and their time. And here's the thing about that audition. AI can't replace it. Can't replicate that. A perfectly edited reel can't replicate it. A beautiful carousel cannot take away from it, because none of those things let her experience you in real time, unscripted, fully present. Live is different. Live is irreplaceable, and live is what sells. So I also want to be very clear about something, because we've all been to a 5-day challenge that was nothing but a 5-day pitch. You guys know what I'm talking about. I know you do. Day 1 is supposed to be a teaching, but it's really just an hour of building up to the offer. Day 2 is more build up. Day 3, you realize this is just a funnel dressed up as education, and I feel really manipulated here. So I refuse to build micro experiences like that, and I teach my clients to refuse that as well. So here's my philosophy. Give them mostly why and somehow. Blow their mind with the mindset shifts. Give them the concepts that crack something open. Make them feel like even if they never spend another $1 with you, they walked away with something real. And here's why that actually converts better than the pitch fest approach. When someone leaves your micro experience feeling like they got amazing value, feeling like they learned something they couldn't have gotten anywhere else, they do not feel sold to, they feel served. And a woman who feels served does not resist the offer. And I have a very particular way I teach my method, which I'm not going to dive into here because it is my trademarked method, but we want her to feel served, and we want her to lean into it because she has already experienced what it feels like to be in your world, and she wants more of it. I infuse stories. I infuse client stories, my stories. I teach with everything I have, and it's fluid. It changes every time I teach it, but it's the core same points, right? And at the end or in the middle, depending on when, I open up the offer, and I do it clearly and confidently. And I have a method with that too, but that is the formula. Value first, offer always. So let me walk you through how the sold out offer challenge works, because this is the micro experience I run to sell my content mastery mastermind. And I want you to see the actual bridge so you understand how to build your own. So someone registers for the sold out offer challenge. It's a 5-day live event. I have a general ticket and a VIP ticket. The VIP ticket just gets them more time with me. And every day I teach, and I teach my BFE framework, the break method, the offer creation, micro experience method, the repeat and rinse system, real frameworks, real teaching, real value every single day. But the thing about it is I know that they're not going to get to the results they want without my help. Like, I'm giving them the recipe, but let me come next to you and cook it with you. And because everything is woven into that is that they're experiencing me. My clients are all invited, so there's no hiding. We've all hired the coach where we're like, oh my gosh, I should have done better research, or you didn't go to Reddit. Please help me, Jesus. If I ever had a bad thing on Reddit, I will cry my eyes out. But I invite my clients, so they're in the room as well. And some come to all of them, some come to some come to part of it. But usually there's clients on the calls as well. So these other women are like, Trish is not full of it. Like, she's not tooting her own horn. Her clients are here, And I give them promises that I can keep, not false promises like, oh, create a PDF and you'll make 10K tomorrow, which is not true. But they get to experience how I teach, how I show up, how I handle the room, how I answer questions that I didn't even know they were going to ask, how I coach my own clients, how I coach them. And at some point, I drop the application, which is usually on day 3. And I tell them, I'm not going to sell to them. Now, I do it differently for Labor Nurse Mama. We open the doors for a special live enrollment on day 3. And I pitch it at the end, and I pitch it on Thursday and Friday as well. So it's a little different. And I teach my method differently. There's a different course of action depending on the cost of your offer, like the value and the price. So if you have a low ticket offer, we do it one way. If you have a higher ticket offer, we do it another way. But here's the thing. By day 3, there's things shifting in the room and I can feel it. The questions get more intense and deeper, and the engagement gets deeper, and I'm getting tons of DMs, and because they've now spent enough time with me that they're trusting me, and they're not just learning from me anymore, they're deciding about me. And when on day 4, we have an application call, because you do have to apply to be in my mastermind, because I'm very protective of the space. I spend a lot of time with you guys and with my women, and they spend a lot of time with me and each other. And we're very protective of this space, because it's not just a mastermind where you get access to me, but you also get opportunities for collaborations and for expanding your business by being in a room where the other women in the room will drop your name to other people who need you, because we're not afraid of competition. We believe in abundance and not scarcity. So anyway, I want you to hear me. A micro experience is about earning the right to make the offer, and that is the bridge. Social content gets her attention. The micro experience builds the trust. The offer becomes the next step. So what that looks like for your business is, if you're a birth worker, your micro experience might be a 3-day live birth prep workshop, or and it's the same thing. Every 6 to 8 weeks, you teach the same content. You get better every time. And the women who are not ready come back when they're ready. If you're a postpartum doula or a postpartum coach, your micro experience might be every Thursday, you do a 1-hour masterclass on surviving the 4th trimester. Same thing, same structure, over and over again. If you're an IBCLC or a lactation consultant, it might be a live breastfeeding prep class for prenatal, like 3rd trimester moms, right? Same class every other Tuesday. Same offer at the end, rinse and repeat. The format does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be long. Now, there's more work in the beginning. I won't lie. We have to lay a foundation. We have to do all the emails, and we have to do the funnels, and we have to do the automations. If you don't have a good platform, I highly recommend Glow Up Funnels, which is my own agency that is really built for women who sell to women, or women who just want to be in a space owned by women. Y'all know I work with all women here. I love men. I have 5 sons, so don't get me wrong, but I like to work with women. That's just my jam. But we use Glow Up Funnels, and we have it all systemized in there. It's all done. So there is some front work to get it ready, but we want to have it ready and not complicated so that we can repeat, because repetition is what most of you are missing out on. The women who do not buy the first time are not gone. They're warming up. And when you promote the next one, they see it and they remember how much value they got the last time. Some of them will re-register. Some of them don't even come back. They just go straight to the DMs and buy, because they already have enough trust. The promotion itself becomes the final touch point. And that only happens if you run it again, which means the women who quit after one micro experience because they only had 20 people register and 2 people came and nobody bought, they are missing out on what's to come. They're missing out on what's to come. Do it once, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Get better. Refine it. Become the expert. Let the data tell you what's working. You only get data by numbers, and we have to get more and more numbers. And eventually we'll pour gas on that fire and do ads. That is how I've built my mastermind, not by exhausting myself with creating content and doing all these things. I've created a system that I can pour gas on. And now last week, 2 weeks ago, I had a 100K week. And at the same time, I had a $25,000 month with Labor Nurse Mama with a low ticket offer. So I want you to hear me when I say repetition is what builds trust, and what builds buyers is trust. So I want to address every fear that might come up for you, because I know what you're thinking is I've worked with so many experts. You're thinking, well, what if I do all this and nobody shows up? Number one, I don't care. I want you to do it anyway. And you might be thinking you do not have a big enough audience. I don't care. I built my coaching business to a 7-figure business with less than 10,000 followers. We're up to like 12,000 now. I don't know. And I don't even know that all of them are aligned, because in the beginning I was doing all the jam and getting the wrong people, right? So you might also be thinking it has to be free or nobody will come. Now, depending on the price of your offer, we'll talk about that inside the mastermind, but that's a whole nother jam. You're thinking you don't know enough to teach, which I'm absolutely sure. So here's my answer to all of it. Nobody showed up to my first ones either. Nobody. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter, because the women who do show up, even if you have 2, they matter. And you teach to them like you have 200, because remember, everything I teach you is about teaching to one person. So as I did them over and over again, more and more and more and more people came. You also don't need a big audience. My very first sold out offer challenge, I think I had 4 people come. I invited my clients and I sold to one of them, but it was still worth my time because I got so much data. Here's what you need. You don't need a big audience. You need a focused offer. You need a willingness to show up, and you need to repeat it. Repeat it. Now, it doesn't have to be free. So I have found that even a low cost for a micro experience actually converts better in many cases because the people who pay attention, and the people who pay have already invested. They show up with their wallet open. Now, the Fearless Birth experience, we had a general admission, which was free, and a VIP, which was paid. And my conversions for my VIP were so much higher because they self-selected themselves as a buyer. And if you don't know what to teach the things she needs to know before she's ready to step into your main offer. That's it. The micro experience exists to close the gap between where she is and where she needs to be. Now, here's a little recap because what's really important, and obviously I'm not getting into in a 15-20 minute podcast, but there's an importance on every aspect of it, from naming it to how we structure it, to how we pitch the offer, to how we do the close and the follow-up. And that I teach inside my micro experience method inside of Content Mastery Mastermind. But your micro experience is a live event you run over and over again that lets your buyer experience your teaching, your personality, and your expertise so she can decide if you're the one for her. It works because AI cannot replicate it, and repetition makes you better, and you need to build it, run it again, give massive value, make a clear offer, and let herself filter all the way to yes. So your action this week is decide what's keeping you back from doing a live micro experience. What's keeping you back? So next week, we're doing the last in this 9 series. So the 9th episode in the series is next week. And I am going to bring everything together and show you exactly what the next step looks like if you're ready to stop figuring this out alone. So don't miss it. We are almost at the finish line of the 9-episode series, and I'm so proud of every woman who has stayed with me through all of it. Subscribe if you haven't done it yet. You don't want to miss it. If you have a friend who keeps asking why her content is not converting, send her this episode and last episode. Those 2 together will completely rewire how she thinks about selling. Leave me a review, 2 minutes. It means the world, and it helps more women find me. I am a unicorn coach who knows how to sell to moms and parents and consumers. There's legit nobody else out there. So come find me on Instagram at I am Trish Ware. Tell me what your micro experience is going to be. DM me. I want to celebrate with you. Okay, as always, that is your cosmic slap on the booty for this week. Build the experience, show up, and sell your offer, because when you sell your offer, it sells. As always, see you again next week. Bye for now.